Hi guys, welcome back to Touch and Concrete. My name is Brooke.
My name is Layla, and today we're joined by a very special guest, Mary Morgan Ashley. Full government name.
Woo!
Welcome, Mary, to the pod.
Wow, thank you for having me.
Of course. So Mary is in our sorority, Kappa Kappa Gamma, and is Layla's big.
Wow.
Big
And-
Mary.
Big Mary.
AKA Big Mary.
So for those who may not know, a big is when you first join your sorority, you go on these dates with other girls and you're basically just trying to figure out who your big's going to be. And your big is somebody who like guides you through and can give you advice.
A mentor.
A mentor, if you will.
And I've been that, right?
Amen to freaking that.
But another thing that is interesting to sorority life is that your big is like your mom. So people will be like,
Mom.
that's my mom.
That's my mother.
That's my daughter. Like my little is actually my daughter. So
Same.
yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact, like me and Brooke have children.
Yeah. It's literally true.
I saw it happen.
Our littles. Shout out Maeve and Nora.
Shout out.
So yeah, but do you have anything else to add about being a big, Mary?
It has just been such a wonderful experience. And Layla, like getting her as my little was literally a dream come true. Like she is the perfect little, and it's just such a great bonding experience because it also opens you up to new friendships, because through Layla I met Brooke and I met so many other people that I now call like my closest friends. So
That's
I
really
recommend.
sweet.
Yeah,
It's really sweet, like how all these friendships unfold and like
it is. And everyone's connected. Everyone is
everyone always connected. By the way, this world is tiny.
Yeah.
This world is tiny. Everybody's connected. There's always mutuals. Like, come on
Always.
now.
Come on now. Yeah, it's me and Mary went, she was my first big little date,
That's sweet.
and I freaking knew from the jump. We went to
Same.
Cup of Joe, got PSLs, pumpkin spice
Ice
lattes.
Thank God.
And we literally chatted for like 3 hours.
Hours and hours and hours.
And herstory has been made ever since.
It's herstory.
It's herstory.
Wow.
Not history.
Herstory. And when it was my big little reveal, like I was finding out that Mary was my big, she dressed me up as a hot dog.
And what did you wear, Mary?
I wore a cookout shirt. Like the theme was cookout. I was gonna have you dressed up as like an inflatable baby, but someone took that already. So
Right. I do like that theme though.
Same.
Yeah.
So also for the culture, when you have your big little reveal, it's standard to have a theme, and then like you find out you're big because you guys have the same theme, so you can run. Like she was in the hot dog, she runs to the girl in the cookout shirt.
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then you also have like a sign that'll be like, what did your sign say?
I think mine was wait, it
Like
said
Layla is
something
the hot diggity
Oh yeah, it
dog
was
or
my little
something.
is the hot diggity dog, or Layla is the hot diggity dog.
I still have
That's so
that
funny.
hot dog costume.
I remember
Good.
that year you had kept it in the trunk of your car for
you
Absolutely.
Ever.
did. You kept it for a while.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was still in the trunk of
Me
your car.
either, because I just found
Yeah.
photos that I was supposed to give Mary and Maddie
Photos.
yesterday
Uh-oh.
in the trunk of my car. But me and Brooke also had funny themes for our littles.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was
Yes.
frat boys.
Iconic.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was fun.
Mine
Just-
was, I had these inflatable costumes from one time for Halloween. Me and my mom had just worn inflatable costumes. No character with it, by the way, just the inflatables. And so I had these, and so I was like, what can I do with it? And so then so for my big little, I had to get in a box and jump out of the box.
That photo of you I have where you're hanging out of the box.
Because due to me wearing an inflatable, I couldn't fit in the box. And so I had to put the box over my head.
I
And
hate
so
when that happens.
everybody is lined up in a box like on the ground, and I'm just standing with the box on my head. It was really a funny sight. But my box said my heart inflated so big for my little Maeve. And then like the inflatables, we had put little hearts on them, and it was really cute.
It was cute.
IMO.
Mhm.
It turned
in my
out
opinion.
really great.
Thank you. Yeah. So speaking of Kappa, Mary, how long have just tell us about your journey in Kappa and how long you've been a part of it and your favorite memory, stuff like that.
I rushed my sophomore year, so fall 2023.
Shout out.
And
And so, sorry to cut you off, but how was it rushing as a sophomore? Because most people rush as a freshman.
right. Well, I was a Spring Connect student, so I technically came to NC State like the spring of my freshman year. And
Right.
so I didn't have that opportunity to rush in the fall, and I also thought about doing COB like this spring that I went into it, but I'm honestly so glad I did sophomore year because it really gives you time to settle into NC State. Like I imagined when I was recruiting, I imagined like all these freshmen, like this is they literally just left home like a week ago.
1 day ago.
Yeah. And now they're like coming through this such a stressful but exciting process. And I was like, I could never do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, at least as a sophomore, like I had my bearings of NC State. Like I knew where my classes were. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if we've touched on like recruitment at all in other episodes.
I think we've touched on it, but haven't given the full breakdown.
But basically, sororities go through recruitment in the fall, normally around like Labor Day weekend.
yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just the whole weekend. You're meeting sororities. You're like going to different houses. You have different rounds, and it is stressful.
Mhm.
Like I'll put it out there.
Stressful.
It's very stressful. It's very fun. For anyone listening to the podcast who is thinking about going through recruitment, you definitely should.
Do it.
I also went through recruitment as a sophomore, and I feel the same way as Mary in the way that I am glad that I had my bearings on campus. And I don't know, I felt like I knew how to live independently for a year. Like I just got my feet on the ground
You
here.
also know other people who
Yes.
are doing it too.
Yeah. And a lot more sophomores go through it than you would think.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
all freshmen, but it's definitely a good way to branch out and,
Mm-hmm.
meet new people, get involved on campus. And all that to say, though, it is stressful.
Yeah.
But I will say, for me personally, it was more stressful on the recruiting side, like being in the sorority, than going through the actual recruitment process.
Really?
Yeah. Do you not feel that way?
I honestly, I think I just like don't even remember like going through recruitment like as the recruitee.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it was I was so hot and I was so like stressed out and all these things. But I mean, you're also those things when you're recruiting too.
Yeah.
Like you're hot, stressed out.
Well, I think it was nice for you also because you had Maddie.
I did have Maddie.
And who is Maddie?
Maddie is my roommate / best friend since 4th grade, and we both rushed to sophomores together, and we both ran home to Kappa Kappa Gamma together.
That's really sweet.
It was
It is
sweet.
sweet. I love Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really nice for you to have,
That
I'm
was
sure.
like that also like helps because I wasn't going through that process alone. Like I think if I was, I would have been even more stressed out and nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brooke? You actually
Well,
went through
see,
Yeah, you see
spring.
A secret fact about me is that I've never been a P&M during formal recruitment.
Wow.
P&M stands for potential new member, and that's what all of the people who are going through recruitment who are like looking to join a sorority are called. But I did something called COB, which stands for continuous open bidding, which takes place in the fall, but kind of more on the down low. And then in the spring, it's more prevalent. And basically, you just reach out to the chapters that you're interested in, and then you can talk to the girls there and then decide if you're a good fit for the sorority. It's way more chill of a process than fall recruitment. But also, on the flip side of that, you don't have like these experiences that you guys talk about. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are saying all the stuff about recruitment, and I just don't have that. And I feel like it's a very bonding experience, and like you're going into the chapter together. So I don't know. There's pros and cons to everything always.
100%.
And I am very grateful for my journey into Kappa because it was very stress-free.
Mm-hmm.
I only had like 1 or 2 days of mild stress
Yeah.
through it. And so, yeah, I'm thankful for it, and it all works out in the end always. So.
Yeah, it always does. Like,
yeah.
I think about that all the time. Like, I think it's the butterfly effect when, like, I don't know, like, everything just falls perfectly into place. Like, if I didn't join Kappa, I wouldn't have met Mary. Like, I wouldn't have met anyone.
Shedding a tear.
Everything always works out how it's supposed to be. Like, I couldn't imagine myself in, like, any other sorority.
Yeah.
No tea, no shade. It's just, like, I can't.
It's your home.
Yeah.
It's where you ran home to.
Literally ran home to out of breath.
Kappa Kappa Gam. And see, that's another thing. I didn't get to run home.
Yeah.
It's tiring. Like, I'll be honest.
It's
full sprint.
It's like I just remember it was one of my favorite moments, but I just remember like it's so much emotion.
It is.
It's like they circle you up. They give you like your matching T-shirt and like your letter. And then you're like sent to go. At least this was when I did it. I probably changes every year, but then they lead you to go find the other people wearing the Kappa or whichever sorority you're in shirt. So
yeah, I will say, when I opened my bid letter, we were so far from the house.
Yeah.
Where were you?
We were like, I don't even know how. It's like past 80 Pi, the 80 Pi house.
Really?
Yeah, we weren't in the bowl. Like we had to
moved
sprint.
it.
They did.
It was in the bowl for me, and then I think they moved it further down to like DG.
It was so far. I was so out of breath. But on the flip side of that, being at the house this past recruitment and having people run home to us, that was like bid day was so fun.
I had so much fun on bid day.
It was
like
so
one of
fun.
the best nights of my life, I swear. I guess it was just like the adrenaline after the weekend, but having everybody run home and then like the food and the music and vibes were so high.
Yeah.
It was so fun. And like everybody had glitter and paint all over the place.
The community.
Speaking of community, I love the show Community.
Yeah.
What is Community?
Layla.
What?
That genuinely shocks me that you don't know that show.
Oh.
It's kind of sad.
It's a show with Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino.
Oh.
Yeah.
So good.
That part.
And basically it takes place at a community college, and it's all of these people from different paths of life, and they have a study group together, and it's just about their journey.
It's beautiful.
It's so funny.
And it's funny. Like it's funny. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
Is it like what's the style of like Abbott Elementary, like the
It's I don't think so. It's not like a
No.
documentary.
It's kind
Situation.
of sitcom-y.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of a show to compare it to, but it's literally
It's
uncomparable.
Community.
What is it on?
Hulu.
Hulu. It
Tea.
used to be
Shout
on
out.
Netflix though, and then they took it off.
They always stay rearranging stuff in it.
They do.
It makes me a little bit irritated.
I have recently been rewatching Glee.
That
which
part.
yeah, Mary's also a big Glee. I love Glee. I'm putting it out there now. Write it down.
Write it down.
I am being Sue Sylvester for Halloween. That is my costume.
That's how Sue
I'm putting
sees
in my
it.
notes.
Put it in your notes and
Everybody write it down.
Done.
yeah, I'm being Sue Sylvester basically, but I've been rewatching Glee and also Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary is so good.
It's funny.
It is.
I'm like cackling
Yeah.
out loud.
Speaking of elementary school.
Oh, that was
Wow, that was fire.
Thank you guys. Thank
Transition.
you guys. Mary is, what's your major, Mary?
My major is elementary education with a concentration in STEM education and a special education add-on licensure.
T.
Sorry, it's a bit long.
So, tell us how you chose that, Mary.
That part. I spent my whole life, like my whole childhood, working with kids. Like I would volunteer at camps, and my first job was in I was a camp counselor, and then I worked in childcare. And my job this past summer was at a private school, like a summer school for kids with like academic learning needs. So I've just spent my whole life working with kids, and I was like, I'm kind of like low key like good at this. So
Got to keep up the fun.
Yeah.
And so recently you've been student teaching.
I have.
How is that going?
Oh my goodness. So I was in my general ed classroom for, well, this whole year, but I did like my actual like full-time student teaching this semester. And I actually finished that early to transition to special education. So now I'm like following a CCR teacher, which is like the special education teacher who like pushes in and pulls out for like kids in general education who have like accommodations and other things like that. But it was such a meaningful and impactful experience, and I absolutely love the kids I worked with. I was in 3rd grade, and it was just the best thing ever.
I'm glad that you like it because that's your future.
Yeah, thank God
True.
for it.
Because
Thank
imagine
goodness.
what would happen if you got to that point in your, like, you're an education major and you get to that point, student teaching, and then you don't like it.
That's a really good question. I honestly don't know because you're kind of
But I
You're stuck.
will
Or in.
say, like, I've not necessarily like student teachers, but I've read articles, I've seen TikToks.
Totally.
Teachers just quitting, like early into their career.
Oh yeah, like teachers once you've graduated and like
Yeah.
you have a job. Yeah, like that is an issue right now because like teachers are overworked and not paid well.
Mhm.
So, and it honestly depends like school from school. Like if a school has like a lovely administration and like a wonderful like community, I feel like teacher retention is better, but if a school lacks that, like it's hard to keep teachers.
Yeah.
Like it's high turnover. But the
Yeah.
school I'm at, like I absolutely love. Like the administration is wonderful. The teachers are wonderful. Like the school just has such a great community. So I'm very lucky.
Yeah. Thank
That's
a
awesome.
teacher.
Yeah,
Teachers are
for real.
awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any favorite teachers that like stand out in your mind?
My 3rd grade teacher, Miss Hare, was so good. My kindergarten teacher, Miss Dietz, was also good. I loved her. All of my elementary school teachers, honestly.
Yeah.
I never really had a bad teacher until my freshman year of high school. I had a really bad teacher who made me cry. So
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, thanks.
Mary, is there a teacher that stands out in your mind?
My theater teacher in high school was so awesome. Like she made such a lasting impact on me, and I miss her like every single day. She was a really good teacher. Like she's what I want to be when I'm older, even though like she was high school and I'm gonna be elementary school. Like
Yeah.
I really look up to her.
Yeah. I think immediately of my 4th and 5th grade teacher, Miss Gilpin. She looped our whole class up. So at the end of 4th grade, she told us like, we're all going to 5th grade.
Oh, that's
Aw.
And then
sweet.
she retired that year, but she was she was like Miss Honey, like from
Oh.
Matilda.
Yeah.
She was so just motherly and like, oh, she was so nice. And then
Yeah.
also similarly, my course teachers from high school, Mr. Danielson and Miss Morris, shout out. I love them. Support the arts as well.
Support.
For real.
In high school, not a teacher, but my librarian was so special to me. Miss Flores, shout out. She really got me through my high school years because right off the bat, I had gone from private school to public school, and so everybody had their like school emails and their school student number, and nobody was filling me in on this information. Like I knew I had these things, but I didn't know how to access them. And so like week 1, I go to her because I think I had gone to student services and they were so mean and cruel. I was like, I don't even know what else to do. So I just walked into the media center, and she had helped me figure out my email and my student number and like how to get on Google Classroom and all this stuff. And it really stuck out. And then I started volunteering in the library to get my Key Club hours. Shout out.
Mm.
And then we just got super close that way. And then my sophomore year online, she had reached out to me and a few other people and asked if we wanted to start a club that she had a few years ago. And we did. And then we had a club with her, and she was the advisor, and it was so fun. It was like one of the highlights of my high school career.
That's sweet.
And now she's getting her realtor's license.
Oh,
Wow.
love it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Love it. I wish her luck in the
Mm-hmm.
same.
Me
Good
as
luck,
well.
Miss Floor.
business. But I think this just goes to show the lasting impact that teachers
Absolutely.
make on
True.
you. Because even like my grandma talks about her like kindergarten, first grade teacher.
Yeah.
So
That's sweet.
I mean, you can't do anything, like everything you have from your
teachers.
teachers.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Like you wouldn't have any of the careers that we have unless it was for the teachers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be a great teacher, Mary.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I sure hope so.
What do you have, like something you're looking forward to in having your own classroom and stuff?
I honestly I mean, I don't have a job yet, but I'm very excited to meet the students I will have and create those connections. Moving on to my special ed part, I do miss my third graders a lot.
Mhm.
I miss them every day.
Oh,
And so getting to I get to see them sometimes because I'm at the same school, but I'm obviously not in there as much as I used to be.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to meet the kids, create that community, because that's honestly the most important part to me is
Mhm.
absolutely.
that, and figuring out my classroom management style that I want to have. So
Do you have a theme for your classroom, like decor wise?
Shoot. Not yet, but I do I definitely want to this is the one thing I know I'm gonna have in my classroom is stuff to block the fluorescent light.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do not like the fluorescent
Me
light.
either.
I want to have sunlight coming in, which obviously
Mhm.
I can't really control that. But I want to have lamps. I want it to be very calming and welcoming and not too overpowering.
Yeah,
I don't want
totally.
a theme where it's there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I want it to be calm and colorful and chill.
I used to, when I was a child, I would always play school with my cousins and my
Mhm.
friends, and I would always think in my head what my classroom would look like.
Yeah.
I still do. If I was
That's
a teacher,
sweet.
but I agree. It's important to have a calming space because
Mhm.
you specifically will spend so much time in
Exactly.
there. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Not to change the topic just a little bit, but do you guys know on TikTok teachers who will just record themselves and post it? They're mid-teach and they'll record
Right.
it and post it, or they'll record a student interaction but the student's off the camera,
Yeah.
or they'll record their call and responses.
Mhm.
What do you think about that, Mary? What do you think about these teachers getting clout from their job?
I don't know. I think it's they probably shouldn't be recording they shouldn't. Not probably.
Totally.
They shouldn't be they should not be recording their students. My first thing is just where do they find the time to do that? But they also have breaks. I honestly don't know if I have that strong of an opinion on it. I feel as long as the kids aren't in it, it's not a major issue.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have seen a few teachers. I don't really have that strong of an opinion on it just because I'm not really directly involved with the education
In the
sector.
space. Yeah.
But I agree, obviously don't show the
The
kids.
kids, yeah.
There's a few teachers that I've seen on TikTok that I have the thought of I personally wouldn't do that, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mary, do different, I guess districts or states, do they have different laws or regulations regarding phone use and kids and things like that?
I think phone use is on a school to school basis, if the teacher can be on their phone or
Mhm.
stuff like that. But for the recording kids, I don't think any teacher's supposed to be recording them, and I think for the most part it's fine to take pictures of them to for the purpose of sending them to parents and stuff. But
Mhm.
I don't really know the whole legality of
Yeah.
that and stuff. I just know that's a big no is to record kids and then post it on your social media.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird behavior, honestly.
I was
in my
never.
opinion.
Yeah.
I know, like, in school, if there was even a chance that I would have been on camera, like, my parents would have had to sign off on it.
Yeah, I feel like I
So-
remembered having something like that too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking of like phone usage in classrooms though, do you know anything about like phones being banned for students? Is that true? Or I've like been seeing stuff like that
that's
online.
like a North Carolina law now.
I wasn't allowed to have my phone in school.
I also wasn't in high school. Like, I mean, that wasn't an issue in elementary school for me, but
Yeah.
I was allowed to have my phone.
Really?
Yeah. And like some of my teachers would make us put it in like a pocket in the back of the class.
Uh-huh.
And that's like how we got our attendance. But I
Wow.
think it was like once or twice.
We like never, we weren't it was very strict. Like if you got seen with your phone, you would have been sent to the office.
T.
Yeah.
I had one teacher who made you put your phone on your desk face down so that she knew you were on it. So you had to have your
Hey,
phone out.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
As someone who's addicted to my phone,
Yeah.
I need that now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
I had one time though in that class where we had to put the phones on the desk. We were taking a vocabulary quiz. It was English, shout out, freshman year. It was a vocabulary quiz. One of the words, Siri read out the word and the definition. So somebody was cheating.
Ugh.
Not to call them out. I don't know who it was.
Not to
But-
get too off on a tangent, but I knew this girl in high school who had diabetes, and we were like all in the same class, someone else's phone dinged, and instead of the person's phone who actually dinged, like getting in trouble for it, the girl with diabetes took the blame for it and said it was her Dexcom.
Wow.
That's really nice.
That is
Community.
sweet.
It's all about the community.
That's another thing. You went to public school
Yeah, I did.
and then you went to public high school, middle
Yeah.
school?
Yeah.
High
Or I
school?
went to private elementary and middle school and then public high school.
I know there's a lot of controversy with public education and stuff, and I get it. But public high school and public school in general is the backbone of my being. I think I wouldn't have like the humor or like even like, I don't know. I just love public
No,
school.
I completely
Like-
agree. I would not be the person that I am today if I did not switch to public high school.
Like,
That
It
part.
was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life, and I will stand by that till the day that I die.
some of the stuff that happens in public school you only get if you've been there. Like genuinely the funniest moments of my life have happened in public school, like in my high school.
My first day one of public school, brand new school, completely new realm because it was high school. I had just started becoming close with one of my bestest ever friends now, Holly Cooper.
Hi, Holly Kai.
Hi, Holly. Because we had played volleyball together, but because we're going to the same high school, we started becoming really close. And day one, before classes started, she texted me, "I'm hiding in the bathroom.
I can picture that so clearly.
Can you come save me?" And so I went to the bathroom and I saved her from the bathroom.
That
And we
is
took
sweet.
a selfie together.
That is
Aw,
sweet.
That warms
Yeah.
my heart.
Yeah.
Dude.
And so that was my intro to public school.
Oh,
I'm hiding in the bathroom. Can you come save me?
absolutely.
Totally.
On my way.
I'm on the way.
OMW.
Bold of her to assume that you even knew where the bathroom was.
And
That
see-
is
and-
true.
well, we had been playing volleyball there for
okay.
the whole summer.
Wow.
And so I was well acquainted with the gym, the bathroom, and the cafeteria.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
So just get stuck in those three places.
And then you're
Brooke-
good.
And I can
Brooke got
remind you. But if you open the academic, because there was like these doors that like locked off all the classrooms. And if you had told me to go in there, I would have been lost and you would have never been saved. To this day, you would still be there. So
Yeah. Brooke, we went on a drive one time and we went by her high school, and that thing is massive.
massive.
Massive. Was your high school big?
It was pretty big. There were like
How many students?
let me think.
Or like,
Or
how
how
many
many-
did you graduate with?
Yeah.
Like 800.
Oh my God.
I graduated with like 500.
Dude,
Yeah.
I graduated right around 97, I think.
Wow, not even reaching triple
97
digit.
people.
There was 500 people in my school total.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's really so shocking to me. I just can't imagine that many people.
Mm.
I mean, like, I don't know everybody in my grade.
See, I think I could name everyone I
Low-key
graduated
same.
with.
Or
800?
You could?
At least if I saw a picture of them, I'd be like, I know
That's
you.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know the faces, but
The names.
I don't know
Gets a little dicey.
I don't know the herstory.
The herstory of it all.
There are
Um,
some people here, like at NC State, that I'm like, you went to my high school, and they absolutely did not.
False memories.
Yeah.
In my middle and elementary school, though, I could tell you everybody's name,
Yeah.
hometown, parents' name, home address, possibly.
Social security number even.
like we were a tight, knit group.
That's sweet.
I think it was like 50, 60 kids in my grade there.
My mom, I don't know why I feel the need to say this. My mom went to private school until 11th grade.
And what was the switch in 11th grade?
I don't know. I think she just wanted to go.
Just to try something new?
Yeah. She
Totally.
went to, well, I forget what high schools. One in Raleigh, though. East Wake? East something? I don't
Not ringing a bell, but I'm sure
know.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
don't know why I felt the need to say that, though.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so any other comments on high school or public school or anything? Oh, and Mary, do you have a preference if you teach in private or public school?
Public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why?
I just, I don't know. Like, I grew up in public school my whole life, and I just think, I don't know. There's just more opportunity to reach out to, like, a wider variety of students with varying, like, needs, I think, in my
Absolutely.
opinion.
Yeah.
So that's just where I want to go, and I don't really know. I've just always been like, I'm going to teach in public school. That's where I want to teach.
Absolutely.
I love it. Thank an educator.
Thank a teacher.
Thank a teacher.
I'm so excited though, Mary, for this journey for you.
Same.
Because Mary, you graduate in like
Ooh.
1 hour.
Literally.
Literally 1 hour.
Tomorrow.
When do you graduate, Mary?
May 8th and 9th.
That's scary. I don't mean to scare you, but I'm scared.
No, I'm scared too.
How do you feel about that?
I'm like, okay, I'm excited, but mostly nervous and scared and frightened.
Totally normal,
Just
though.
Right.
because, like college is, they say it all the time, and you're always like, no, you're wrong. But college really is the best 4 years of your life. Like, this is where you peak.
I refuse to graduate.
Same.
I don't.
I'm taking an extra 100 years.
Like, I literally don't want to graduate.
Me neither.
And especially, to preface, basically all of mine and Brooke's friends are graduating this semester this year.
Wow.
wow,
yeah.
wow.
So being up close and personal with like grad photos and
Dress shopping.
job searches, it's a
It's
lot.
stressing me out.
Yeah, it's overwhelming and it's a lot. And I think it's finally starting to like settle in that you guys are actually graduating.
I can't believe it.
Like, I can't.
It makes me actually sick.
Same. I literally
me sick.
can't think about it. But
I'm scared.
Do you think that you're ready for that new chapter of your life,
Ooh.
though?
I don't. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna miss like you guys. Like, I'm gonna miss my friends who aren't graduating. I'm gonna miss my friends that are graduating because I feel like we're all gonna be entering different points of our lives after graduation. I think I feel like I am ready, even if I don't feel like I am, because with student teaching, like when I came back because I started a little bit earlier than everybody else, but when I came back after New Year's, I was like, wow, I'm really nervous. Like, I don't want to be a bad teacher.
Yeah.
Basically, I want to do right by these kids and like teach them. And so I felt unsure if I was ready, but then when I jumped in, I did it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's how it's going to be when I graduate. Like, I'm going to be really nervous and going to be like, can I do this? But I think once I'm actually in there, I'll do a good job.
Yeah, 100%.
I know you will.
Any change is scary, so I
Yeah.
think it's completely normal to feel that way, and you have all the tools that you need to succeed, and
Yeah,
you just being
that's
you.
true.
So
Absolutely.
Stop.
I can't agree anymore. But yeah, I mean, graduation is an exciting time.
It is.
All the celebrations and the photos
Yeah.
and everything.
I feel like as an exciting time as it is, people don't talk about the stressful aspects of simple things like we were just saying, getting a grad dress or scheduling your grad photos or figuring out, which this isn't really an issue for you, but like tickets for graduation.
Oh, yeah.
People, I've been hearing about the tickets
Like
everywhere.
Especially for
Business school.
Business school.
Yeah.
They're a little stingy on those
A
tickets.
little stingy on those tickets now.
But that's good that you don't have to worry about the ticket situation.
So you have
Yeah.
unlimited.
Yeah. And I think like we're in Reynolds,
Mm.
the College of Education,
Oh.
so that's really nice. But yeah, I think since it's so big and the College of Education is relatively small in comparison to like other colleges at state, like we get unlimited.
Yeah,
As
that's
far as I
nice.
That's
know.
nice.
That's
I-
nice.
It makes me think about what the College of Engineering is.
I know. I've
because
never.
I haven't heard a single thing about it.
No.
I don't know any engineers who've graduated, actually.
I think they do it by like department. According to Katie, my other roommate, her brother was in the College of Engineering, and basically they do it by like chemical engineering.
So
Mechanical
each major has their own
I
graduation?
think so.
That's tea.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like,
Shoot, I don't
might have
know.
misunderstood.
Somebody reach out with that info.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll
Because
reach out to Katie's brother, Stat.
Thank you.
that makes me
She's on it.
wonder about business too. Is it by, because business is kind of sectored off like that too, with like accounting and finance
Right.
and marketing. Next year.
Next year problems.
Sorry, Mary.
We'll figure it all out.
We'll figure it
I'm
all
happy for
out.
you guys.
Speaking of our graduations, Layla, though, I am extremely excited to get my engineering ring
Mm-hmm.
because all engineers get a silver ring to wear on your pinky of your dominant hand. And it's supposed to like hit the paper every time you sign off on something to remember the consequences of your actions.
Wow.
So it's like if you're signing up on something that you actually don't know what you're signing, like you better think about it because it's gonna have like it could have
Wow.
irreparable damage.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get that ring, and
That's
it's
so
like
cool.
its own ceremony, and it's just cool. And I always see these TikToks of people who are like ring before spring, but it's my engineering ring.
Ring
Love
before
it.
spring. That's a big thing in education.
It is.
Really?
It
Yes,
is.
but
It
an
is.
actual engagement ring.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a big thing here?
There's a handful. There's a handful. Yeah.
That you know personally.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cray cray.
That is
Happy
cray.
for them. Happy for
Happy
'em.
for them.
I think I would be so stressed out though. But that's just
Yeah.
me. Like I just said I was really stressed out during recruitment. So like I get
Yeah.
stressed out over everything. So
Okay, being stressed during recruitment is valid though.
that's true. That's true.
All stress is valid.
That's true. That's true.
This makes me think of, do you guys know like those BYU TikToks where people will ask like, would you rather leave with a degree or a ring?
Yes, and they
Wow.
most of the time they're gonna say that degree. They would rather have the ring than the
Yeah.
degree.
Listen,
Why are you at college then? I'm sorry. If you're not seeking the degree, genuinely, what are you doing?
like
That's just
get
my
the
opinion.
degree. I don't mean to get all freaking
In
in
y'all
the
biz,
drama, but get the degree.
But get the degree.
like it can wait. It can wait.
I do think like a part of it, at least in the College of Ed, I don't know, it's true for everyone, but like a part of it is like when you like unlike any other really job, like when you graduate, you're going by your last name. Like I'm gonna be Miss Ashley.
Yeah.
Like that person's gonna be Miss So, like, I think a big thing is, like, I think a small, tiny part of it, but also, like, the people that I do know who are getting engaged in the College of Ed, they've been, like, dating that person for, like, years.
Right.
Like, one of my friends, like, lives with the person.
Yeah.
Like, they have been together a long time. Like, they're practically already at that stage of life.
Yeah.
So, I think a part of it is, like, I am going to change my name. Like, let me do it before I start teaching.
I never
then-
thought of it like that,
and
but that
then
makes
never thought of
sense.
that.
Yeah,
That makes
or
sense.
like I'm going to be engaged to this person while I'm teaching, so I'll just go by their name.
That makes sense.
Because you also think about all the decor you have to buy in your
Right.
last name.
Right.
Like if you're
Think
already
about it.
like gonna be married to that person, like you might as well get it in that person's last name if you're planning
Yeah.
on changing it.
Also, I remember I had a teacher in primary school who she got married, and
Mhm.
when we had to call her by her new last name, it was like, I don't
Yeah.
see you as that.
I don't
kids get
know who that
stressed.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not
I know,
you.
Dada.
But I think it's just so hard for me to imagine that. Back to the BYU thing.
Yeah.
No tea, no shade once again. But I just think I'm right now at this point in my life, I could not imagine being engaged.
Same.
Me
Like
neither.
I literally can't fathom the thought of it. So it's just so crazy. But it's different cultures. So
It's I mean, and everybody's different
Yeah,
too.
that's
Yeah.
true. Everyone's different.
Everybody moves at their own pace in this life. So,
that part.
and that's another thing, like, not to get inspirational or anything.
Please
but
do.
Do it.
You are never behind in this life because
Mm.
everything just happens at its own pace.
Ooh,
And
yes.
that's something that I really feel sometimes, like, oh, I'm so behind. Like, I haven't done this. But like,
Who cares?
and who's setting the pace? Like, nobody.
Literally, I've always heard this and believed this, but I feel like the last few months or like junior year specifically, everything happens for a reason. Like
True.
you are doing what you're meant to do right now because of a certain reason, whether you know it or not. Everything always works out. Like, to your point, you're never behind. Like, oh, I could literally talk for hours about that because I so strongly believe in that.
I agree.
Like, you're always in the right place at the right time,
Amen.
even if you believe it or not in the moment.
Mm.
A woman. Yeah, no, it's totally true though. And I feel like just graduation and stuff really brings that side of
Yes.
thinking out. Like,
Yeah.
you're just reflecting. And by the way,
Not
even
graduating.
graduating.
It is. It's a time of reflection.
True.
Last night we went to watch a few of our friends at their Studio 804 performance. Lauren, who we've had on the podcast.
exactly.
Actually. And Katie, shout out. But I was just sitting there like reflecting on like the past year and how last year I went to the show. And I'm like, wow, this year flew by. Like,
It did.
so
Yeah.
much happens in a year.
Like, from this last Studio 804 performance, and
Mhm.
mind you, I didn't go to the Studio 804 performance last night, but just the timing of it all,
Mhm.
so much has happened since that last show.
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy.
it's cray. Like, so much has happened.
So much.
Like, I can't.
It's crazy how much your life can change in one
in
year.
1
In a
year.
blink of the eye.
Even in one, I don't know. Yeah. Life changes so fast in 1 hour,
1
1
minute,
minute,
1 second,
1 millisecond.
1 nanosecond.
Yeah, I don't know. Life is crazy, man.
Yeah.
And if you don't stop, what's that Ferris Bueller quote?
I was thinking that too, but I couldn't think of
it's
the
on
quote.
the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. If you don't stop to enjoy,
Enjoy
it,
it. Yeah.
something.
That part.
If you don't stop and look,
look
Round.
around, it's going to pass you by.
you get it.
Something.
Y'all
like
know
Don't
what
act
we're
like
saying.
you don't get it.
Y'all know what we're
You
trying
get
to
the
say.
gist.
You get the gist of it all.
Go watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What's it called?
That's
Yeah.
it. No, you got it.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yeah, go
Yeah.
watch that. Get back to us on the quote.
Quickly.
And rate us 5 stars while you're at it.
While you're at it, and comment
And like,
and subscribe. Is that a thing for
And-
pod?
and
Oh no,
tag
you,
us.
you totally can
Yeah.
subscribe.
tag us.
Tag us.
Tag
Tag us on
us
Instagram
on
at Touching
Instagram.
Concrete Pod. So yeah. Yeah. Speaking of just like the podcast in general, I'm sorry that we've been.
This is our formal apology.
I'm crying in front of the camera. Like,
This
I'm
is coming
so
off
sorry.
of a notes app. You know those notes app apologies?
Should we write something out and post it on Instagram?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's a good idea.
We just genuinely have been so busy, and I don't even know because we were busy last year too, but
It's a different kind.
It's been ramped up.
Like, we're not just saying that. Granted, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on the other side.
Play it.
We probably maybe could have found an hour and a half, on a Saturday. But we have other things to do. Like, we genuinely have been so busy. And also, the semester has flown by.
I literally feel like 2 seconds ago it was New Year's Day.
Like, my birthday, by the way.
That
Happy
was a good
birthday.
night.
Right.
Happy birthday, Layla.
Thank you.
Her birthday is
Happy
New Year's.
birthday.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Ooh, it's crunch.
Good song.
That's good.
I don't know. Oh, sorry for not posting.
Sorry for being inactive.
Sorry
I
for
forgive
being.
you.
Hey,
Oh,
thank you.
that actually reminds me. Mary has been wanting to come on the pod
Wow.
for decades.
Years. Before they even made a podcast, I wanted to be on this podcast.
Like, yeah.
I was thinking back, Mary, because when me and Layla had founded this podcast, me and you had barely become friends yet. And I remember, like, when we had posted the first graphic to Instagram, you had reposted it to your story. And I was like, I don't know. It made me really feel special because you were including me in this story, and I looked up to you.
Oh,
and you had posted it.
so sweet.
And I was just like, wow, she's posting me on her story, but like we didn't even know each other that well.
Was the first time you guys met at that football game?
Yes.
Wait, which one?
We had Bojangles at the tailgate.
And Soph's sister Liv ate Bojangles for the first time. Your dad was there.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yeah. Wow.
But I vividly remember the date function that we were all at.
Yes.
forgot which one that was
yeah.
That was the groundbreaking moment in our friendship, Mary.
Yeah, that's when I was like, I really want to be friends with Brooke.
That's
And
so sweet.
I was trying so hard.
Really?
And I honestly thought like maybe I'm scaring her off a little.
Wait, what?
I literally
No.
don't remember like anything. I feel like you just assimilated and so easily.
True.
Like, I don't
Thank you.
know.
Thank you.
Do you feel that way?
I do, yeah.
I feel that way as well.
I feel like everyone just meshed so seamlessly.
we really did. I think because we're all we all have
Similar.
our similar quirks.
And humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our funnies.
My roommate, I had said something. I don't even remember what it was. It was probably like a TikTok audio or just like a reference to a meme or something. But my roommate last night looks at me and goes, Brooke, I've never met anybody like you. Oh. And then a few seconds later, she goes, well, maybe Layla.
Oh, that's sweet. That is too sweet. Wait.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Maddie.
Maddie.
Yeah. And mind you, I met Maddie through Layla.
Dude.
But she was like, since y'all have gotten closer this semester or this year, she knows you better.
Dude, I love
So-
Maddie. Shout out Maddie.
Shout out all my roommates, Maddie, Sarah, who's studying abroad, and Kenna.
Gosh, love them all.
Yeah.
I feel like an honorary roommate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Um,
That makes me feel loved.
yeah. But it really made me feel special because she thought it was so funny.
That is sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all as in me, Mary, and Brooke, and all of our friends, but I feel like us specifically have very similar humor,
True.
also
Yeah.
known as brain rot. Like, like it gets to a
Gets to a
point.
point.
It gets to a point.
Yeah, you
What
guys
did-
make me laugh,
Say the thing that Carly said about
dude.
yeah.
Carly. Okay, Carly's our other friend. Shout out Carly.
Shout out Carly.
And I'm gonna put it out there, okay? I think 6'7" is funny.
It is.
It's objectively funny to me.
6'7",
My
6'7", 6'7",
6'7", 4. Like, my professor said it 2 times the other day, laughed both times, looked at me dead in the eye and said, "That's something my daughter would laugh at." I'm sorry. It's funny.
It's funny.
My total at Chipotle yesterday was $6.07.
And she would not stop talking about it.
It's so funny to me. I'm
It's funny.
sorry. And basically was sitting outside and Carly was saying something about numbers. And I made a comment of, I wish you would have said 6'7". And this is where it gets a little dicey. It gets a little confusing.
Oh.
But our other friend Ella was like, "Carly, I'm surprised you didn't say 6'7". And Carly says, straight faced, by the way, "I didn't say it because I'm sitting next to a 12-year-old boy," and points at me. Dude, she got me good.
She got
me good.
She got you there.
It's funny.
And it wasn't a lie, by the way.
It wasn't,
But hey, I'm in the same boat as you.
dude.
So
It's bad.
it is bad.
It's
But
bad.
it's funny.
It's
like
funny.
I don't understand why people don't think it's funny.
6'7" is genuinely funny to me. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. It's so funny.
Sorry.
And
it's been funny.
it has been. It's funny. It's funny.
Oh, and the other day, I had gone to my cousin's house for Easter, and I don't know what we were talking about, but like humor, something was funny, and my cousin goes, "Yeah, Brooke is really funny. Every time I'm scrolling my reels, the ones that she likes are always the funniest ones." Mind you, I am barely tapped into Instagram reels. But that did make my day because I am liking the funniest ones.
Do you remember that time? I was a Instagram Reels hater, by the way. I still kind of am.
Right.
And I think me and you had literally had a conversation about Instagram Reels and how I didn't like it. And I had ended up liking a AI like animal video on Instagram. And Brooke screenshotted me liking it and sent it to me. Do you remember that?
No.
I was scrolling through
No.
text the other day. I don't know why. And it made me laugh out loud.
Wow.
Yeah.
Funny.
Hoofy.
What do you think about Reels versus TikTok, Mary?
Ooh, okay. Well, there's been moments in my life where I've deleted TikTok like for
I could never.
storage reasons. So then I'm forced to Instagram Reel. So like honestly, it really depends on my mood. Like there's like months where I go on TikTok and then months where I'm strictly Instagram Reels. And I know that's controversial.
That is really controversial to
But
me.
that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, you know.
You have the best of both worlds, I suppose.
Yeah, you really do. And you
Yeah.
know, they always make these comments that like for TikTok it's like, "Oh, well, if you're on Instagram Reels, like you'll find out about trends like 6 months
Yeah,
later,
later.
like 6 to 7 months later."
6
Right,
to 7
6 or
months
7
later.
months later.
But that's not true. And I'm done with that thinking.
I think it is a little bit true.
I couldn't tell you because I'm on TikTok, so I'm up to date.
Well, okay. I'm confused about how Instagram Reels work. Like, I think people make them on TikTok and
They
then
do.
upload it
They
to Reels.
do.
So inherently, it's going to be a lag.
They do.
It's going to be a lag because you can't open Instagram, press record, and post a reel.
They do
Maybe
that.
you can.
I think
but-
you can, but it's not like that big of a thing on
And
Instagram.
like the user friendliness
Dude.
of TikTok is better.
Like no
True.
other platform has TikTok favors the creators. You can literally get famous overnight. And I could literally talk about it for hours. But also with my internship, it's very interesting to see how like one video would perform on TikTok compared to like Instagram.
and it's always better on TikTok or what?
Well, it depends on the video. Because like different
Gee.
audiences, because TikTok is normally like, I mean, TikTok is for everyone, but specifically with my internship, more focused on like 18 to 25-year-old women. And then Instagram is more like usually like older people.
right.
So speaking of, get my mom off of Instagram and Facebook. If you get a follow from someone named Kelly, Don't accept it.
Your mom had commented sassy fire emoji on one of my Instagram posts, and it really made my day.
I love that.
It really made my day.
Guys.
Sassy.
Thank you, Miss Mullen.
She posted on my TikTok in the comments something like, sassy girls, beautiful inside and out.
I love it.
I love
That's
it too.
such a nice thing to say. But speaking of demographics on TikTok, and also speaking of teachers making TikToks, this just popped into my head. The other day I saw a TikTok that was a teacher who made content not about teaching, just outside of the classroom. And she was asked, how do you deal with it when students interact with your content or like DM you or whatever? And she was like, well, most of my students are like 10, 11, and you have to be 13 to have TikTok. So they shouldn't be on here anyways.
That's
and so
true.
I just like choose not to engage. And she was like, especially if they DM me, I would never DM them back. But if they comment on a video and it's like, I miss you so much, then the teacher would say like, I hope you're doing great in middle school or something like that, and leave it at that in the comments because it's public. And I don't know, I thought she had a good take on it.
Yeah.
Mm.
What is your opinion, Mary?
I don't know. I don't think I would ever personally be like Instagram or TikTok famous.
But okay, suppose a situation you are
Mhm.
and your students start reaching out, what would you do?
I don't know.
That's a difficult one.
Yeah.
Because it is like they're allowed to, like, you can't.
And that was her take. She was like, I can't really do anything to stop what they're consuming online.
And that's why
So-
parents should monitor what their kids do more closely.
Absolutely. I think that, and I think we've touched on this on this podcast before, but it's crazy how much stuff is on there and how easily accessible
Yeah.
it is to young children. And parents have got to like learn that and monitor it more closely.
Like, yeah. I agree 100%. Do you ever worry about interacting with parents?
Yes.
It's so different from when like we were in school,
yeah.
I feel like.
It's just hard to like, I don't know. It's just hard to talk to people in general.
Yeah.
That part.
Like, I don't know. I think like when you talk to them though, as if, I mean, I'm not a teacher yet, but I think when you talk to them more in a way where it's like we both want what's best for your child, like I feel like conversations are usually more productive with parents and more helpful. Like I think that's the mentality I'm going to have like moving forward talking to parents is like I want what's best for your child. You like we're a team, like we're working together.
That's really true.
I think that's like the best way you can go about. Because another thing that I've learned like throughout my time here at like NC State and in the College of Ed, and like when we've talked about how to communicate with parents, especially during difficult conversations, it's like a lot of your parents don't have any experience in education. Like they don't know what certain things mean, and they don't know like the different processes. So like actually informing them on that, I think is like more helpful than, I don't know, like just being like, oh, well, you don't know what that means. Like, okay.
I also think for parents too, they forget sometimes that a teacher has 20 other students to take care of, and it's not just their student or their child that they're taking care of.
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, being a team, because you both want
Team
what's best.
player. Am I right?
This coach don't play. Yeah, totally valid though.
Yeah. Back, speaking of not only having the one kid, in the last episode of Abbott that I was watching, Janine, the teacher, had 42 students in her classroom and they were like in second grade, and I thought that was insane.
That is actually
I couldn't.
insane.
Yeah.
But my fifth grade class, like in my experience here in Wake County, like the class sizes are pretty small in elementary school. But I remember when I was in fifth grade, and I'm from Charlotte, my fifth grade class, I'm like pretty sure had 40 kids.
Oh my
That's
god,
crazy.
But maybe I'm remembering middle school. I think middle school had 45. I know middle
In-
school.
Did you have like block classes, like periods?
Yeah, but it was like a little bit different for me in 8th grade because like I had 2 teachers because I was in honors classes and I was with the same kids all day.
Yeah.
And I had 2 teachers, one that taught ELA and social studies, one that taught math and science. We would switch.
Oh.
So, but I was with the same group of kids
Yeah.
all day, and I
Yeah.
had the same 2 teachers all day, which is different than 6th and 7th grade. 6th, 7th grade, because like we also had a change in principals, so like things change. But yeah, like that was very different than high school and 6th, 7th grade.
Wow.
Totally. Totally.
But I remember having a lot.
That's cray.
That is a lot.
There was a time where there were 45 kids in my class.
Dude, I literally can't. I don't know how teachers do it.
Shout out teachers.
My patience. Actually, I think I'm a very patient person for most things, but children
Isn't one of them?
isn't one of them because I don't like being talked back to.
Mm.
But I also think it goes back to like how I was raised. Like if I talked back to my parents or someone in authority, consequences would be severe. So,
Same.
but God bless you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mary, do you have anything else to say about your time in Kappa, your time as an education major, your time at state? Anything?
Shoot. Well, if you're thinking of like if you're listening to this podcast and you're not a student at NC State, like I completely recommend doing NC State. And if you are a freshman who's unsure of where they are going to go, before I even came to NC State and I applied to college, I was originally a psychology major.
Oh.
And my goal was to do not educational psychology, but I was going to do childhood psychology. And I decided to change. And honestly, it is the best thing I did, because if you're even thinking about it, like I completely recommend doing elementary education. And like obviously like you can always change, like if you decide, but just give it a shot. Just give it a shot.
Try
We
it
need
out.
more teachers.
Do your research.
Yeah.
I think especially with education, do your research. Don't look at just TikTok and like all
don't.
bad things that happen.
No, there's like, and you will come home tired some days from student teaching, but it is all worth it. Like in the end, it is all worth it. And like for me, was I tired every day? Yes, but I was also like so happy and so content with what I was doing and how I was like teaching kids. Like you feel so fulfilled and happy with what you're doing, even on your like rough days. But I recommend doing elementary ed. The program at state really is like the best program in the state. It is a great program. And I'm very happy to be graduating in the College of Ed here at NC State.
Wow.
Big congratulations, Mary.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. And rush, y'all.
Yes.
Find your people.
Run home.
And that's like cliche, but it's so true.
It's so true. You'll find your people. You just
Right.
really have to put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
And in the College of Ed, like College of Ed is small. You're with the same group of people for majority of your time here at state. And it took me a while to find friends in elementary ed. But when I did, like, they became, like, my closest friends.
Yeah.
So I fully recommend, like, trying it out.
Try new things.
If you have an instinct where you're like, I want to work with kids, I want to help kids learn and grow, just try it out.
Also, if you have any questions about, we can redirect you to Mary.
DM
But
me.
yeah, DM.
Absolutely. Do you want to shout out your handle? Or?
Email me at my student email.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Or on our Instagram. Just reach out to us. If it's
Reach out.
recruitment, if it's other student organizations, like that's the whole reason we
Yeah.
started the pod, to get people involved. So
Yeah.
don't hesitate to reach out.
And you have
Please
any
don't.
questions about elementary ed or special ed, because I'm dual licensure, just let me know. Like I can talk to you about, licensure exams, because that was one thing I had to do this year. Like I mean, I can tell you how to study for them. I can't really tell you. But I'm here. Let
That's sweet.
Let a girl know.
Holla at your boy.
Holla at ya, boy. So should we close off with our thorn and rose
Yeah, totally.
of the semester, honestly, because
Finals, baby.
Ooh,
Ew.
coming up.
Heyo.
Hey, yo.
Do you don't have many finals, Mary, do
no,
you?
I just have a project I have to present.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. But yeah, I luckily don't have any finals. My finals, I think, was like student teaching. So
That's
Yeah.
enough.
That is enough.
low key, yeah.
That's a lot. You can go first, Brooke.
Okay, let's see. My thorn of the semester. My thorn of the semester was that I took a really hard class and I actually have to finish taking it over the summer. And so that was my thorn of the semester. It just really made me feel defeated and it made me feel stupid, which is not true, but that's how it made me feel. And so it was just a really big low point of the semester for me. But if y'all ever have to take a W, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not.
It's really not that big of a deal. So,
And you are not stupid. Like, you're one of the smartest
Thank
people I
you.
know. So
Same.
Please don't.
It's crazy.
think that like everybody has to take an L at some point, and that's okay.
And 2 L's. Make a
Make a
W.
Make a W. They do. Yeah, and I know that it's not true, but that's just how I was feeling in the moment. Hitting that on Enrollment Wizard.
Shout out Enrollment Wizard.
Shout out. But yeah, that was my low for the semester for sure. My high for the semester, I think, is just all the times I've spent with the people that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's cliche, but all the good we made so many good memories this
We
semester.
have.
We did. And I think that's the hardest part for me about graduating is like being like, I want to make more memories
Yeah.
with y'all.
Which we will. They'll just be
Of
different.
course.
Yeah, it'll just be different.
Yeah. It'll be fantastic, though.
Yeah.
It will.
Layla?
My thorn of the semester. I don't know. Maybe I really was coming back from winter break thinking I was going to be unrecognizable. That was my word for the year. And I wish I would have gone to the gym more. I only went a handful of times. But granted, I did like go on walks more and things like that. But
Absolutely.
I wish I would have utilized Carmichael a little bit more.
I really need to tap back into the dance classes.
Same.
Yes.
But another thing about this semester, you guys, I had a 6 p.m. class.
Yeah.
6 to 7,
Same.
Whoa.
15
6,
p.m.
6, 7.
I also had night classes.
So I couldn't be at hip hop like I wanted to be.
Yeah, we've got to tap back into that for
we
sure.
tap back in, like, I finished it next week, like, at post. Like, at the
Dude,
week
right.
after.
Don't
I know you
play.
have finals, but I don't, so.
Right. So it's totally fine.
And then my rose of the semester, cliche, but probably just the memories and like, I don't know, gone through a lot this year. So
Yeah.
just, I'm feeling more like an adult as the days and weeks progress.
That's
Just
good.
handling situations that happen, communicating,
Standing on business.
standing on business,
Shout out Beavercella, by the way.
that part. Yeah, I feel like just growing socially, knowing my boundaries and things like that. So thank you guys for that too, because you guys were helpful in that.
Wow, thank you.
Wow.
That is sweet.
That's sweet.
Mary, do you want to give your thorn and rose?
Shoot, yeah. Okay. I need to think. Like, I think my thorn was I think my thorn was just like giving myself a little grace, a little time. I think I was very I don't really know the word for it. Like, I just had a lot going on this semester, and it was kind of like a juggling act because I wanted to like do well in my student teaching, but I also didn't want to like not see my friends at all. So I think I was just like so worried about both that I sometimes didn't give myself a little grace or things like that when I couldn't like do certain things. So like time management and stuff like that. But it was chill.
Yeah. I think you did a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, like I don't know, but my rose, what is my rose? Oh, okay, my rose is like spending like any second I had like with my friends. Honestly, like cuz I really wanted senior year like I had such a good semester last semester. Like I got to see my friends all the time and like I was doing good in my classes and all that. And I had a lot more free time than I did this semester. But I would say my rose was just getting to spend like any moment I could like with y'all, like with my friends. And then also getting to experience student teaching was also a really good experience that I will cherish forever.
A highlight of my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow. Well, yeah, I love these roses, you guys. It really warms my heart.
Same.
Well, congrats, Mary.
Yes, congratulations.
Well,
You're going to go off and do great things.
let's hope so.
You're going to go far. That song by Noah Khan.
Ooh,
Thank
that's a
you.
good one.
Mary, if you don't have anything else to add, I think that we're good. Thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you so much for having me. I had the best time ever.
Well, I'm
Wow.
glad we could finally do this. And
Same. Been a long time coming.
it has
Long
been.
time.
But guys, keep out a lookout for our next episodes. We'll be back next semester.
Next fall.
Wow.
In the
Same.
fall. In
Have
the
a
autumn.
happy summer.
Happy summer. Wish I could sign everybody's yearbook. All right.
Hags.
Hags, TTYL, all the things.
LOL.
Bye, guys.
I will
Bye.
catch you guys on the flip. Bye.
Bye.